What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Fragger Builds. So, as you guys probably saw in that intro, I did have to go back to the Savannah City, which is off over in that direction, and I needed to get some terracotta. And I did get quite a bit of it. I think this should be plenty of terracotta for what I want to do today. But if I do need more, I can always go to the mining mesa, which I do need to go through the nether to get there because it is quite a journey, even in the nether. But anyway, what I want to do today is I want to build up another house right around here. And I will probably have to fill in this ravine a little bit. And you can kind of see my moss farm down there. I use that to get azalea bushes. But anyway, today I'm probably going to have to fill in this ravine. That is one of the things that I want to get done today. And then, like I said, I do want to build our new building right here. Which I want our new building to be just a house. I don't want to make it into a shop or anything like that. I just want it to be a regular little house because we don't have one of those yet in this village. And so I think we do need at least one of those. And for the build palette, I want to use lime green terracotta, which is why I got the terracotta and also the cactus. And then I also want to mix that with some bricks here. And this is all the bricks that I have, so I will need to get more. I do have a mason villager, I think that's what they're called, over in the village here that trades for bricks. So I do have a way to get more bricks that doesn't involve getting clay. And he is just up here next to his stone cutter. Yeah, as you can see, I have a brick trade there. So I do have an easy way to get bricks. So I'm not super concerned about that. I'll just need to do some trading. And that is oxidizing rather quickly. But if you did miss it in the last episode, I did finish that roof. I didn't really talk about it that much. I just briefly mentioned it. But I did finish the roof on that tower in the last episode. But then another thing that I want to do today, aside from building the house, is I want to do the pathways. And unfortunately, nobody really mentioned what pathway they prefer. So I think I am going to end up doing a combination of the two. So then in the village center, which again is going to be around here, I am going to use stone. And then going off to the other houses that are on the outskirts of this lake here, like our butcher shop that we built up last time, I am going to use dirt pathways to get to those. So I think that's what my plan is going to be for these pathways here. But anyway, that is my plan for this episode, is to build up this house, fill in the ravine, and also get the pathways started. So to start this one off, I think I am going to start off by filling in this ravine here. And I think I'm going to do a time lapse of it because I have not done a single time lapse the entire time we've been in this medieval village. So I think it's about time that I do a time lapse here. And so to start this one off, I'm going to fill in this ravine. So this entire ravine here is completely filled in now, and it honestly went by a lot faster than I expected. I was thinking this was going to take maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and it only took like 20 minutes. So yeah, that was really quick. But anyway, I was also able to plan out this house that I'm going to build up here, and I'm pretty happy with the plan that I have. It's rather simple. It's just a regular L-shaped house, but I am going to put a tower in the corner here, as you can probably tell. This is how I make my towers. So for this one, I am going to have the main structure here be bricks and lime green terracotta, like I said at the beginning of the video. But I want this tower here to be a different color, and I don't know what color to make it. I'm thinking maybe white, but I also might make it more of a gray color, kind of like that tuff there. And I don't know what that guy's doing over here. But anyway, I do want to make this tower a different color from the rest of the house, so it stands out a little bit more. So I do have pretty much all the resources that I need to build up this house here. As you can see, for the tower though, I still need to collect some resources for that, especially if I'm going to make it white. I don't really have any white concrete or white blocks yet. I might have some calcite actually. Let me check really quick. I do have a little bit of calcite, but I'm definitely going to need more of that. And I could use these mushroom stem blocks as well. But anyway, I'll take care of that all before I start building this thing. And I think I'm going to build at least most of this in a time lapse, because I really need to catch up on doing time lapses, and we've already kind of gone through the entire building process for these houses in those two that we have already done. And I think you guys are probably getting a little bit sick of me going through the same process over and over and over again. So I think it's time that we switch it up a little bit and then do this one in a time lapse. So I'm going to get a little more resource collecting done, and then I'll start building this guy up. Alright, so I have the house pretty much finished. It is almost done. Obviously I still need to do the roof and the interior, and there's still a little bit more of the tower that I have left to do as well, but for the most part the main structure is completely finished, so I don't really have to worry about finishing the rest of that. Overall, I'm very happy with how it turned out. I really do like the green terracotta mixed with the bricks. I don't know why, but it just really works for me, and I really like the way it looks. But it is very similar to the houses that I made in the farming village time-lapse that I did about 2 weeks ago, I think, at the time this video comes out. So it is very similar to those, and it is somewhat inspired by those. So if you notice any similarities between this one and those houses, then that's why. But of course I haven't done the interior yet, and it's honestly probably not surprising at this point. I really have a bad habit of not doing the interiors. I still have to do that interior. I'm not sure if I'm going to get around to doing this one today though. I really want to, but I'm not sure if I'll have time. I most likely won't do it on camera if I do it today. I'll probably do it when I do the roof here. But speaking of the roof, I want to use nether brick for the roof. And I know that may sound a little bit weird, but I really do think it's going to look really good having nether brick for this roof. And I really need to get out of the habit of doing dark oak roofs in this place. I already have done it twice, and I need to do something else. So I'm going to do not red nether brick, regular nether brick for the roof here, and hopefully it turns out pretty good. Also, I did put a balcony here, and I do think that looks really good. I wanted to do another one here, but I don't want to do it on this side because I already did one right here. And so having another one on the same side of the building, I don't think would have looked right. Additionally, I don't think it would have worked here because of that guy. And also because it's like really high up. So I'm probably not going to end up putting a balcony on the tower, even though I really wanted to. But I think it's still going to be okay regardless. I also want this tower to go a little bit higher up, and maybe just like another block or two higher than what it's at right now, but I don't want it to be too tall, and I also don't want it to be too short, so I think a block or two is going to be perfect. Additionally, I am also going to put a roof on the tower similar to that, except I'm definitely not going to use copper. Yeah, I'm not using copper. I'm not sure what block I'm going to use for the roof yet. I'm thinking maybe deep slate or potentially black stone. I'm not entirely sure. I'll figure that out all later before I start working on the roof. But that is pretty much as far as I've gotten on this house. And I do want to add some azalea bushes to this side so that it's like ivy climbing up it. And there's a few other places that I'm going to add it as well, maybe a little bit there and some here as well. But I'm going to get working on this a little bit more and get the roof finished at least, and potentially even the interior done as well. Probably not going to do a time lapse for this one, so I'm going to get working on getting this house pretty much completely finished. Hopefully it'll be completely finished. So our medieval house here is finished, or at least mostly. I did get the roof done, and I did start working on the interior here, and I think the interior turned out pretty good. It is rather basic right now, and I do want to make changes to it and update it a little bit more, add a little more detail and stuff. But the general layout that I have for this bottom floor is the main entrance here, and then we have our little dining area right here off of the main entrance, and then over here is the kitchen area. And the kitchen area is probably the more basic of the three areas, but I think it's okay for right now. Like I said, I do want to make changes to it and fix it up a little bit better later on, but for right now it's fine. Anyway, going up the stairs here, we have the 2 bedrooms right here, and I did put paintings in them. I put paintings in a few places. There is also a little bit more that I want to do with these as well. These bedrooms are rather basic. There's not much going on. It's just a bed and a nightstand and a carpet and a painting, and that's it. And this one does have the balcony though, so it does have that going for it. But I still want to do a little bit more to these bedrooms. And then going up here to the attic, this is the one part that I did not get around to doing, and I do want to do something with this attic since I do have a staircase going up to it. If it was just a ladder, I probably wouldn't do anything up here, but since it is a staircase, I do want to do something. And I'll probably just end up putting a bunch of chests and barrels and cobwebs and stuff up here. But that is pretty much it for this house area, and it's pretty much done. So overall, I am rather happy with how it turned out. I think it looks great. Again, it is very similar to that medieval farming village build that I did a couple weeks ago, and I really like that build style, so I do want to use it more, but I don't want to use it too much. I think I said at the beginning of this medieval village build that I started that I wanted to make each house unique and have its own like build palette, I guess, and I think I've done a decent job of that so far. A few of these are rather similar, like this one is more of a yellow color, and this one is also more of a yellow color, and they both have dark oak roofs, so they do look very similar, but there are differences. Again, this one has sandstone and birch for the yellow colors, and this one has endstone, so they are a little bit different, but they are rather similar. I kind of want to avoid having that similar of a build style on the houses though going forward, but I think it's fine for right now. Anyway, to continue this village in this episode, I really want to get working on these pathways. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, I am going to have the city center here be made out of stone, and then going off to the other houses, I will have dirt pathways. So there's going to be a dirt pathway going out to that one. And for this village center, I'm thinking about having the stone pathway just be more of like this big open area here, and then maybe put a fountain at the center. Or I was also thinking of potentially putting a garden at the center. I'm not entirely sure, and I may actually leave that up to you guys to decide whether I put a garden here or a fountain here. And once I start the pathways, I'll probably just leave it grass, and then if you guys decide to put a fountain here, then I'll replace it with the stone blocks and then put a fountain. And if you guys decide to keep it a garden, then I'll just keep it grass and add in flowers and trees and stuff like that. But I do want to have the village center to be around this main open area here. So I'll probably have the pathway going off in this direction to go around that side of the lake. And then I'll probably have like another house or shop area right here. And then maybe the pathway also splitting off and going off in this direction. And then obviously, I've said this before, but I do want to have a giant tavern to be the centerpiece of the village out on this peninsula here. And I think that is going to look great. I still need to come up with a design for it, though. I'm not sure what build palette I want to use for it. And I don't want to use bricks because I've used bricks way too much. Anyway, I am going to get started on building up the pathways, and I'll probably get a lot of it done. Obviously, I want to get the village center done with the pathways, and then I'll probably also add a dirt pathway going out to our butcher shop. That guy kind of scared me. I thought he was chasing me at first, but he seems to be cool. Anyway, I'm going to get started on the pathway, and then I'll meet back up with you guys once that is done. So I am back, and I got these pathways relatively finished, or at least as finished as I can get them now. Obviously, I do need to build up some more of this village in order to get them finished even more. But this is the main stone pathway going into the village center here, and this will go off in that direction towards where the village is currently. But getting into this village center here, I think this looks pretty good, and this is kind of what I wanted to go with for this. And again, like I said earlier, I am going to let you guys vote on what I should do for this village center part here, and whether I should put a fountain here or I should keep it as more of like a garden area. So make sure to leave your suggestions down in the comment section on what I should do for this area. But anyway, as you can see, I do have the pathway splitting off here in two different directions, and this direction is just going to go off here and go around the lake that way. And then this direction is going to go off over here and probably connect up to the current village over here. Now, as I said when we started this medieval village, I do still want to move all of the villagers over to our village here and fill it out a little bit more to make it feel a little bit alive. And I still need to figure out how I'm going to do that, because I think it is going to be a little bit tricky, and it's probably going to involve me having to move that bell and slowly inch it towards our village over there so that they can view that more as the village center instead of this area. However, once I do move these villagers over to here, my plans for this village area is to potentially turn it into a farm. And so have like a farmhouse and a bunch of wheat fields and stuff, and really make it look like a medieval farm. So that is my plan for this village area once I move the villagers over to here. But again, I'll get to all of that later. I'm not going to do any of that right now. So getting back into the pathways here, for this dirt pathway going off to the butcher's shop, I do have it coming off of the main stone pathway here, and I did try to transition it a little bit, and it looks all right. I may change a few things about this to make it look a little bit more natural and a little bit better, but I think it's fine for right now. And then this just goes off into the dark oak forest and winds around a little bit, and this is a little bit straight, so I did try to wind this pathway through the straightaway a little bit so it's not just a straight shot. And a lot of this pathway is not final, so I'll probably change a decent amount of it before it's finally done. And this part is also a little bit straight as well, but it just winds through the dark oak forest and then comes out here next to the butcher shop. And I do really like how it goes through the dark oak forest, but there are, again, a few things that I want to change about it. I also kind of want to have a bridge pathway going from that area, the village center, over across this lake to this island, and then across the lake again to the butcher shop here, to kind of make this butcher shop a little bit more connected with the rest of the village, because it is kind of out of the way a little bit. So I think having a bridge connecting it here across the lake is going to make it feel a little more connected with the village. But that is pretty much all that I wanted to get done today. Next time, I'm probably going to build up this shop here, and I'm not sure yet what I want to make it. But I'm probably going to build this guy up here next time. And unfortunately, that means that this is the end of the episode. So if you did enjoy this one and you want to see more of this series, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And if you have any suggestions for this series or any other series on my channel, then make sure to leave those down in the comment section. But anyway, that is all for me today, so as always, don't forget to keep building.